name's Matthew, and I post videos every Monday and Friday. So if you love the tingles, then hit that subscribe button because you are in the right place. Now, I've still got a bit of a cold, but I am a lot better than I was last week. Last week, I just throughout the week, I was getting worse and worse. And then Friday was coming along, and I was just like, I was in no fit state to record a video for you guys, which I feel really bad about. But I just couldn't have got through it. I've still got a bit of a cold, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to get through this video without choking for you. I have got the England versus Spain game on in the background, so my eyes may go from the case to the screen, just so I could stay interested. Anyway, this is a case that was recommended to me by Anne, and it's the disappearance of Trevor Deely. And Trevor Deely was born on the 15th of August. I was going to say a couple of days before my sister's birthday, but also there's a few years difference. But he was born on the 15th of August 1978 to parents Michael and Anne. He grew up in Naas, County Kildare, Ireland. As the youngest of 4 children, Trevor was very close to his family, especially his older brother Mark. Trevor went on to study business at the Waterford Institute of Technology, but later dropped out. He struggled to find his calling until he discovered an affinity for math and decided to take up a computer course in Dublin, which he completed in May 1999. After graduation, Trevor had several job offers, but ultimately chose to work in the IT department for the Bank of Ireland Asset Management, located in Leeson Street in Dublin, Ireland. He excelled in his new position and was well liked by his manager and co-workers. Oh god, sorry, my screen's going a bit funny. Wait 1 second. Dara Tracy, his manager, described Trevor in glowing terms. He was the most perfect employee. He was reliable. Nothing was too much trouble. He was hungry to learn, and he mingled well with everyone within the company. He was a very happy guy. He also said Trevor was very trustworthy and a good guy, sentiments which were echoed by friends and family. According to one of Trevor's closest friends, Conleaf Lonan, sorry I butchered that, Trev was a jovial character. He was always in good form. He had a good head on his shoulders as well. He was doing very well at work, so he had a serious side to him. He always took work seriously. On the 7th of December 2000, Trevor attended his office Christmas party at Buck Whaley's nightclub, just down the street from the bank. The party continued into the early morning hours of December 8th, and Trevor left at approximately 3:30 a.m. It was a rainy night, but due to taxi workers' strike, Trevor's only option was to walk home. Since the bank was nearby, he decided to pop in and grab his umbrella before making the 20-minute walk to his apartment on Serpentine Avenue in the Ballsbridge neighbourhood. After entering his workplace, he had tea and chatted for a bit with Carl Bender, the only employee working in the bank that night, and also logged onto his work computer briefly. Then around 4 a.m. Trevor left to start the walk home. He made a call to Glenn Cullen during the trip and had to leave a voicemail since his friend was already asleep. This would be the last time that anyone heard from Trevor Deely. When Trevor failed to show up for work the next day, his boss and co-workers didn't find it odd or concerning. A few other employees were absent as well, still hungover from the festivities from the night before. His friends and family didn't hear from him that weekend either, despite the fact that he had made tentative plans with both. They each assumed he was busy with the other and didn't worry about it. However, when Monday rolled around and Trevor still didn't show up for work, alarm bells went off and he started to realise that something was wrong. Mark Deely received a call at work concerning his brother's status. You get a sixth sense when something is wrong, he told the Irish Times. I got a phone call at around 10:30 on Monday from Mum. She was not quite in hysterics, but she was frantic. Trevor's work had been onto her. They said he hadn't been at work on the Friday, and he wasn't in on Monday either, which was completely unusual and out of character. After contacting his family and friends to confirm that they had not heard from him either, the bank reported him missing. The search for Trevor Deely began. Mark, whose wife was 3 months pregnant at the time of their first child, devoted himself to finding his brother not returning to his home in Castlebar for more than 2 months. I was gone from 7 in the morning to midnight the whole time. Those close to Trevor were active in the search for him right from the outset, organising into teams. In fact, it was Trevor's friends, not the Irish police, known as the Garda, who managed to obtain the CCTV footage from his workplace, as well as from another business along his route. These cameras captured the last known footage of Trevor Deely, which had chilling implications for what may have happened to him. At 3:05 a.m, a man wearing all black was seen approaching the bank's gate. He stood behind one of the pillars of the gate as if trying to hide and remained there for approximately 30 minutes. At 3:34 a.m, the man in black answered his cell phone or mobile phone. It was at that point Trevor started to walk by. He was on his phone speaking with the co-worker he would go on to have a cup of tea with inside the bank. Trevor did not appear concerned. He arrived at the second gate, roughly 20 feet away from the first, and a second man wearing black stepped out of the shadows beside the gate. Trevor entered his call and spoke briefly with the unidentified man, still appearing calm. Did he know these men? Trevor went inside the bank a couple of minutes later. 2 more men appeared at the gate and simply stood there staring through it. They were later determined to be co-workers of Trevor's and cleared of suspicion, yet it remains unknown why they were standing there that night. The mysterious man in black with whom Trevor spoke to before entering the bank eventually walked away out of view of the camera. Trevor left the bank around 4 a.m. and walked in the direction to his apartment building. At 4:14 a.m, Trevor was seen passing an ATM near Haddington Road and Bagot Street Bridge. At this point, it was about 15 minutes away from home. Approximately 30 seconds after, Trevor walked by. A man in black was seen quickly walking in the same direction. Unfortunately, while the timeline of Trevor's last known movements was helpful, it was revealed by investigators had lost critical days in the search. We were 4 days late, unfortunately, so you're working with a different set of cards completely, said Detective Sergeant Michael Fitzgerald. Trevor's family was and still is strongly committed to finding him, and have done all they can in search for answers, even going door to door and passing out flyers. Of these efforts, Detective Sergeant Fitzgerald had nothing but praise. They were very proactive. I've never worked on a case where the family was so proactive. Superintendent Michael Kieran, the family's fourth liaison officer, concurred. The Deelys set the standard for what families do when someone's missing. The town is posted now before we get out of the door. Oh yeah, okay, makes sense. Michael Deely, Trevor's father, took 6 months off working following his son's disappearance, unable to bear working in his office in Lower Mount Street, which overlooks the canal where Trevor had last been spotted. It couldn't have been worse from that point of view. You're reminded every day and every hour when you went out. US President Bill Clinton visited Ireland 2 days after Trevor went missing, and his security team did a sweep of the area where Trevor was last seen in the days leading up to the president's arrival. Among other things, they emptied dumpsters and trash cans. Some believe it's possible the team may have unknowingly disposed of clues of what have happened to Trevor in the process. In the year 2000, CCTV cameras recorded their footage on VHS tapes, and these tapes were often recorded over with new footage. Because of these, they may have been additional footage of Trevor and his apparent stalker that night that was lost forever. The Garda meticulously searched the water under the Bagot Street Bridge and found nothing. Nearby canals were likewise searched with no results. However, the Grand Canal Basin couldn't be thoroughly explored due to its depth and the fact that draining the basin would threaten the structural integrity of the surrounding buildings. Detective Sergeant Fitzgerald explained. There were 3 waterways that came into play: the Grand Canal, the Dodder, and the Grand Canal Basin. I remember us watching the sea going out to the pigeon house and watching the tides come in and out. They can look at the Grand Canal Basin, but they can never drain it, because the buildings around it would fall in. They did not have to look at it anyway. As far as you can look at it, they did have a look at it anyway, as far as you can look at it. But you'd like to be able to drain it. God only knows what's down there. One of the divers, Tosh Levy, was a former Garda who worked in the forces Sabaqua unit for 30 years. If we had come up with a body in the canal, the investigation would have been over. But we don't, and the investigation gets bigger and bigger. Lavie said, the brolly was never found for me, and that says that he never went into the water. Glenn Cullen deleted Trevor's voicemail before he realised his friend was missing, and stated that he believed it said something to the effect of, "Hi Glenn, I've missed you there, just on my way home. All going good. I'll talk to you tomorrow." Detective Fitzgerald confirmed the last activity on Trevor's phone was at 4:06 a.m. on December 8th. This is presumably when he called Glenn. In November 2000, Trevor flew to Alaska to visit Janie, a girl he'd met months earlier in Dublin while she was vacationing in Ireland. The authorities, as well as Trevor's family, wondered if this trip connected in any way with his disappearance. Several members of the Garda and Trevor's sisters, Michelle and Pamela, flew out to Alaska to speak to Jane. She told them that she tried to stop Trevor from visiting her, explaining that she was too busy to spend time with him. But he decided to come anyway. The They didn't have much opportunity to hang out, but Trevor enjoyed his trip nonetheless and had a great time exploring Alaska. Some have speculated that Trevor may have committed suicide, or that he accidentally fell into the water and drowned. After all, he had been partying that night and may have been intoxicated, but nothing was found to support either theory. Most believe that the unidentified man in black seen following Trevor in that haunting CCTV footage was the key to finding out Trevor's fate. Despite pleas from authorities and the Deely family, the individual has never come forward and remains unknown. In 2016, the Garda reopened the investigation into Trevor's disappearance. They digitally enhanced the CCTV footage and concluded that the man in black, with whom Trevor spoke the night he vanished, was the same man who was seen following him. A tip received on August 2017 from an anonymous source who claimed to know what happened to Trevor. According to this account, the man who followed Trevor that night was a member of a local gang who wanted to gain access to the Bank of Ireland asset management building and hoped Trevor was his way in. This man allegedly murdered Trevor when he didn't get what he wanted and buried him in Chapelzoid, Dublin, a 3-acre area of woodlands located roughly 5 miles away from Trevor's last known location. As many as 20 Garda officers and a sniffer dog searched the area, spending several weeks digging, but no human remains were found. Detective Inspector Paul Costello said it was the most significant search operation since the disappearance. After 2 months, the search was called off. Investigators believe the tip might still be legitimate, but based on mistaken intel. It is also important to note that the area Trevor was walking through that night was known for gang activity and prostitution. In 2019, the Irish Prison Service, Crime Stoppers and the Garda began displaying posters in prisons seeking information on this case. Unfortunately, this approach has yet to yield any results. Trevor Deely's case is still open and active. His disappearance, as well as the events leading up to it, remain a mystery. A long-awaited update was announced in Trevor's case in December 2023. Mark Deely's Trevor's brother spoke to the media and told him that the Garda have not only identified the man seen following Trevor Deely in that haunting footage, but have actually ruled him out as a suspect. They are now happy the person following Trevor down Hoddington Road. There is nothing sinister in that he was not following. There is nothing sinister in that he was not following. He was not tracking, Mark said. They are totally happy that there's nothing sinister involved with that. The authorities were able to further enhance the CCTV footage earlier this year, leading up to this new development. In the absence of any clear evidence as to what has happened to his brother, Mark Deely said that the family is open to other possibilities. We're totally open-minded. The truth is, as daft as it may sound, he's likely to walk in the door in the morning, as he's likely to walk through the door in the morning as he is to be found dead. We have no information whatsoever. However, the question remains, if this man had no hand in Trevor's disappearance, what actually happened to him? What a mystery. And it's always the case in missing people cases that you have to kind of strike instantly, don't you? You have to. The fact is, they were 4 days late to the search, and with, of all timing, having the President of the United States come to visit, do a state visit, and everything's swept, and everything's it's probably true. You probably have lost some evidence, and quite vital evidence as well. But it's such a shame that no one has been able to. There's no real leads, and there's still unanswered questions. But it's still an open case, so maybe. So I mean, someone out there does know something. Surely, I mean, if he was killed, then the person who killed him knows he did it. So I'm sure he would get caught, or you'd like to think he got caught. Or but if he was so close to his family, why would he just disappear? And if he was seeing a girl, or there was a girl he liked that lived in Alaska, why would he just disappear off the face of the earth? If he was going to go somewhere, he would go to Alaska, right? Who knows? Who absolutely knows? But it's an interesting unsolved case, and I really do hope it gets solved. Because, you know, his family need answers. But anyway, I'm going to leave this video here because I can feel a coughing fit wanting to come. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I do apologise if I sound really awful. I can hear it in my ears that I do sound sick. But hopefully you still find this video to be relaxing. I hope you're all doing well, and I shall see you in my next video. Night, guys.